What is going on, guys? SkiveWalker, and today I'm going to be recapping the first two games of the NBA Finals. Yes, that's right. The Cavs are down 0 games to 2. Not looking good for the Cavaliers. However, they did almost steal one, and they were in the second one, so maybe there is a chance tomorrow night when it comes back to Cleveland, the Cavs can make it 2-1, possibly send it back to Oakland 2-2. But, guys, I doubt it. I still think the Warriors are going to take either Game 3 or Game 4, and then they're going to win it in 5, just like I predicted. But it's not because I'm so smart, but it's because the Warriors are just a better team. And a lot of people were expecting Warriors in 5, and that was kind of the easy answer. Nobody really thought the Warriors would sweep, but it is very possible that the Warriors sweep. It was just very unlikely for the Cavs to win in 6 or 7. It was definitely not possible for the Cavs to win in 4 or 5. But, guys, we're going to get right back into it. In Game 1 where the Cavs had a missed opportunity, but we're going to get there because I have some talking to do and some shredding to do. So in Game 1, the final score, 124-114 in overtime. The Golden State Warriors take it. LeBron James, 51 points in 48 minutes. The guy was just amazing. Guys, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, this is probably the single greatest playoff run from any individual player we have ever seen in our entire lives. I hope you guys have been able just to take some time, sit back, and enjoy it, because we will probably never see a performance like this again, just from series to series to series to series, with one player taking his team on his back and getting him so close to beating possibly one of the greatest teams in NBA history. So he had 51 points in 48 minutes, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Like I said, the guy was just a madman. Kevin Love was pitiful. This guy was garbage. Cleveland, Kobe Altman, send him packing at the end of the year. I've been a big Kevin Love supporter. The guy is just weak in the paint. He was better as fat Kevin Love. The guy just can't shoot a 3 right now. He can't post anybody up anymore. We got to get whatever we can get for him. We got to get rid of him. The guy is just terrible. He cannot be a number 2 scoring option and expect us to win an NBA title. It just can't happen. He had 21 points, great, but he was 1 of 8 from the 3-point line. 1 of 8. He shot worse than Jeff Green. If my math is correct, I believe that's 0.167%. So if you round up 17% from the 3-point line. Tristan Thompson played great. He hustled. He boxed out. That kind of production doesn't show up in the box score. This is the one game where Tristan Thompson didn't show up a lot in the box score, but was amazing. The guy was great, hustled, provided great energy. The Tristan Thompson we saw in 2015 and 2016. It reminded me a lot of that. Tristan Thompson was fantastic. Larry Nance, why isn't this guy playing more, Ty Lue? Why? This guy showed why he needs to be playing 25 to 30 minutes a night. Look at the energy. Look at the hustle. 4 of 6 from the field. 9 points from a guy who doesn't even score. 4 of 6. Made most of his shots. 11 rebounds. The guy came off the bench and in 17 minutes almost put up a double-double. But he doesn't play very often. Meanwhile, we have Bonehead J.R. Smith, who played 31 minutes and shot 3 of 10 with 10 points as your number 3 scoring option. 10 points. And not to mention, at the end of the game, where he gets the offensive rebound and doesn't know the score of an NBA Finals game. Maybe, JR, you should put down the pot and pay attention to an NBA game. Pay attention to the city that is paying you $16 million to help them win a championship instead of rolling up doobies and smoking it and looking high. Because, JR, there's no excuse for not knowing the score in that situation. None. The referees, coincidentally, gave George Hill like 10 minutes in between free throws to shoot his first one and his second one. You could have looked up at the big, giant scoreboard. But no. Nah. You think we think we're good. You think we got this game won. No, dummy. Look up at the score. Know the situation before it happens. And Ty Lue, why are you not realizing you have a timeout there? Why are you not as close to the official as you can get? Because I understand, if you're yelling timeout, which, by the way, Ty Lue was not ever in this 5-second situation, never even tried to call a timeout, probably because he's too stupid to know that he had one. Ty Lue, why are you not next to the official in case you get the offensive rebound to where you can call the timeout and set up a play? Because then even if you call the timeout, you're tied. You have LeBron James. He is the most clutch player in the NBA right now. Possibly of all time. If anybody's got the ball, if I had to choose any player in NBA history to take a last-second shot, I'm taking LeBron James. You have the best player in the world, and you don't even give him a chance. And then once he finds out there's a timeout and realizes you didn't use it, just drops in despair. I mean, when he was on the sideline, I'm sure everybody has seen that video by now. LeBron just looks disgusted because he knew it was the one chance they had to take home court advantage, to possibly steal the series, and you blew it. Not only did JR blow it, Ty Lue, you blew it. And George Hill, you blew it by not making your free throw gator arm. How about you extend that little right arm of yours to just go through the motions? It's a stinking free throw. You are getting paid $20 million to make your free throws, to put the ball through the hoop, and you can't even do that. Let me see Jose Calderon over George Hill, because this is getting ridiculous. But it's not completely on them. I will say it is probably 30% JR, 40% Ty Lue, 1% George Hill, and 29% NBA officials. Now, I don't think that officials cost you a game. I don't. I think if the Cavs don't shoot 23% from the three-point line, this game's a blowout. If they just hit 35%, the game's over, and this call doesn't even affect anything. But the simple fact that you go back and look to make sure LeBron James was not in the restricted area is complete bogus. Sports betting is going to ruin sports. Legalizing sports betting is going to ruin sports. I think we just saw the very first case in Game 1, where Vegas had so much money on the Warriors, they could not afford for the Cavs to win that game. So, of course, there's a terrible call that goes against LeBron. Now, was it a charge? Maybe. I don't think it is. Per rule, LeBron was in the correct blocking stance. His feet did not move. You are allowed to move your torso to protect your body parts, to protect your vital organs. That you are allowed to do. You're not allowed to lean into the guy, but you are allowed to turn to protect yourself as long as your feet are set and you are in the correct blocking position, which all happened. So my personal opinion is that it was a block. But if I'm wrong and it was a charge, fine. However, I think the call was so close, whatever you called on the court should have been the exact same call coming out of the review. There was not enough evidence either way to overturn that call, and the NBA knows it. The final 2-minute report came out and said that it was a block. I get that. But the NBA had to do that, because if they come out and say it was a charge, the world's on fire right now. Cleveland is on fire still, because the NBA would have just blown the game, and they knew it. They knew if that was a charge, that game was over, the Cavs win. Or if JR just remembers the score, and as soon as he gets the rebound, goes up with it, the game's over. Or if Ty Lue knows that he has a timeout and calls a timeout once JR gets the rebound, knowing that JR's dumb, then the game's over. See, there are so many scenarios where the Cavs got hosed, where Cavs fans got hosed, where LeBron got hosed. LeBron deserves none of the blame. The guy was amazing. At one point in the third quarter, the guy was shooting 85%. This is the first time in NBA Finals history a player scored 50 or more points and lost the game. because that's how bad his supporting cast and his head coach is. Now, before I blow a gasket, we're gonna wrap up game one here. Kevin Durant had 26 points, but he was 1 of 7 from the 3 and 8 of 22 overall. That's how you stop Durant. He's going to get his points, but the way to slow him down is to make him inefficient like he was in game one. Steph Curry had 29 points. Klay Thompson had 24 points. Draymond Green was non-existent and has been really non-existent this whole series. He keeps talking a big game like he's been a huge factor. The guy's done nothing. He's not played great defense. He's been horrible offensively. The guy is just playing mental games at this point, and he's annoying, and the NBA needs to do something about it because it's getting ridiculous. Game 2. The final score was 122-103. It looks a lot uglier than what it was, as the Cavs were in the game until the fourth quarter when Steph Curry just went off. He was throwing up shots that you can't even make in 2K with the sliders all the way up and where your guy's unstoppable. And this guy made those kind of shots. He hit a shot where he was falling away with no time on the shot clock, threw it up as he was falling by himself because he was covered by a much bigger defender. And it was a prayer. Just so that way, possibly you don't get a shot clock violation. And this guy drains it. At that point, you just tip your cap. Steph Curry is one of the best shooters of all time. It is what it is. It just happened to be against us that night. Now, I had some buddies over to the new house. We were watching the game. And the Warriors were out playing the Cavs and running circles around them. But somehow the Cavs were still in the game. And we were all looking at each other like, how is this game even still close? But the Cavs fought. They fought and they fought and they fought. But it just wasn't enough as Steph Curry broke the finals record for most three-pointers in a game with 9 of them. He just exploded that fourth quarter. I think he hit 7 of those 9 in the fourth quarter. It was ridiculous. Klay Thompson had 20. Durant had 26 points, but he was 10 of 14 from shooting, so nobody contained Kevin Durant this game. Going back to the Cavs here. LeBron had 29 points in 44 minutes. LeBron did not play his best game. I shouldn't say his best game. He played a great game, but for LeBron it seemed like a bad game. But for anybody else, it's one of the best nights of their lives. Kevin Love, again, was terrible. 22 points. 7 of 18 from the field. 7 of 18 from the field. 3 of 8 from 3, which 3 of 8 from 3 is not bad. I will take that. But 7 of 18 from the field. You're missing a lot of layups there, bud. Jeff Green was terrible. J.R. Smith was terrible again. 2 of 9 from the field. 1 of 4 from 3. He had 5 points in 31 minutes. J.R. Smith's got to go, guys. Kyle Korver can't get open this series. Meanwhile, Ty Lue sitting guy who averages 18 or more. And because of that, the Cavs are down 0-2. Because they had their chance in game 1, but Clueless Lou forgot we had a timeout, and Clueless JR was too high from rolling doobies the night before to go back up with the ball. And he's already gone back on his excuses like 2 or 3 times. I just can't understand anything. But recapping the games, the Cavs really have been in this series. Mainly because of LeBron James. We don't even have that great of a team. And LeBron is showing how great he truly is. This team does have talent. The Cavaliers do have some talent. They're not living up to that talent. They're not helping really at all. I just think it's funny that when we get Rodney Hood and Jordan Clarkson, George Hill, Larry Nance has played fine. But the other 3 guys that are the shooters and the scorers, when they first came to Cleveland, they lit it up. They played great the first 4 games before the All-Star break. Then they got to learn Ty Lue's offense, and all of a sudden everything just kind of shut down. I think that's just shows how bad Ty Lue really is as a head coach. At one point in time, we had 1 timeout left with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. How can you be so careless with timeouts? I don't understand anything that this guy does. I really, truly don't. I think they should have fired him and went with Steve Clifford, and now all of a sudden, now he's got a job. So we lost out on a good head coach out there. So, Cavs' odds for winning games 3 and 4. I think the Cavs will come out in game 3 and win it. I think they're gonna win pretty good, probably by 12, 14. Probably pull away at the end, like the Warriors did to us in game 2. Game 4 is going to be interesting because I think the Warriors are going to smell blood. Because if the Warriors can win game 4, they know they can win game 5 at home. That's the end of the series, and that's another title. But if the Cavs can win these 2 games in Cleveland and go back to Golden State, tied 2-2, and make it a 3-game series, it's hard not to take LeBron in that situation. Because if you can, you'll probably lose game 5. But if you can come back to Cleveland and win one and send it to 7 at Golden State, the pressure will 110% be on Golden State at that point. And I like my chances with LeBron James in a game 7. So, like I said, the odds to win, I'm going to say game 3, probably a 65% chance the Cavs win, although they're underdogs by like 6 points and the line's just continuing to grow, which is not a good sign. Game 4, I'm going to say probably a 30% chance for us to win because I think the Warriors will come out guns blazing and try to steal that one. To win the series, I'm still giving the Cavs like a 3% chance to win. I just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm more excited about the Yankees right now, and to be honest with you, and it's sad to say because the Cavs are in the finals. But I just know in my heart of hearts, as much as I want to be a homer, they just don't have enough to get it done. So I'm very curious to see what their offseason moves are going to be. I think LeBron's going to sign. I think he's just going to wait till the end. I really think you need to get a Kemba Walker in here. I really think the Hornets are willing to let him go. I think the Cavs need to swoop on it and steal Kemba Walker immediately. I think you already have a player like Tristan Thompson and Larry Nance. I think you can afford to let Tristan Thompson go. Trade him for just spare parts and pieces just to get the contract off. J.R. Smith better not be on this team next year because he's not proving up to his contract at all. George Hill needs to go. Jordan Clarkson, I could be all right with going. Rodney Hood, I want to see some playing time from Rodney Hood. Ty Lue said today that Rodney Hood's going to get some playing time this next game. He stinking better because the guy is a good ball player. You don't just average 16 to 18 points a game in the NBA because you're a scrub. The guy is just a good ball player. But he hasn't had the opportunities to showcase it because Ty Lue's offense is all about watching LeBron do whatever he wants to do with the ball, and you just stand around and do nothing. Whereas if he was in a system where the ball moved, he could get into a rhythm and just fire and create his own shot. The guy is a good ball player. He's just not getting a chance to prove it, and it's not a good offense for him. No offense is good when it's just watch LeBron drive and kick. It would help for Korver, but Korver's not getting any screens. And when he does get the screen, the Warriors are just swarming him. So Korver doesn't really have a chance to make a huge impact in the series. But I think that should be a focal point for the Cavaliers. Use Rodney Hood, get Kyle Korver open, bench J.R. Smith. I don't want to see J.R. Smith play another minute in this series. I don't want to see Jordan Clarkson play another minute in this series. And I've been wanting Jordan Clarkson to play. But it was evident in game 1 that he's just not ready yet. So that was... I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I really don't. But guys, this is all we got for the Cavs. This is it. There's 4 games we have to win for a championship, and I just don't see us getting it. We would have to go 4-3. 4-1. Sorry. 4-2. 4-1. 4-1. We have to beat the Warriors 4 times before they beat us twice. I just don't see it happening. So, I'm going to start looking towards the offseason. But do this. If Cavs fans, please do this. We do not know if this is LeBron's last year in Cleveland. So whatever you do, enjoy it. Even though we're going to probably lose the series, enjoy watching LeBron James play basketball. Because if this is his last year in Cleveland, just enjoy the last couple games. Don't be mad at the guy for leaving because he wants to win some more titles. And in Cleveland, I don't know if he can do that because of our cap situation. Kobe Altman would have to get creative. I would feel much better if we had David Griffin. But Cavs fans, and I'm going to do the same thing. Even though I think we're going to lose, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy watching LeBron James, possibly the greatest player of all time, play for my favorite team. Because I don't know if I'm going to get to see that ever again. Chris Paul is my favorite player, and I would have absolutely loved to have seen Chris Paul in Cleveland. Now that it's toward the end of his career, I don't think that's going to happen. There's probably no chance of that happening. But to see LeBron James is definitely the next best thing. It's probably even better because you get to see one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time, play for my favorite team and my hometown team. So please enjoy it. Don't get too disheartened if we lose. It will be a heartbreak if we lose because it never feels good to lose in the championship round. It doesn't. But it makes it feel a little bit better when you get to enjoy watching possibly the greatest player in the world, in the history of the game, take on possibly the greatest team ever made, and probably winning by himself. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you. Have fun this weekend. Go Cavs. SkiveWalker signing off. Peace.